Good morning, everyone. Let me check my volume since it's been the weekend. Okay. So, I hope everyone had a good weekend. Chase, it's good to see you this morning. And yes, today is a full moon. Well, a lot of very different, exciting things about the full moon today. But we must always remember, for those of us who work with DK, it is 3 days before the full moon and up to 3 days after the full moon. If you get a glimpse or can imagine a moonbeam for you to walk up with all of whomever's around you, then you can go and sit and have time with the masters to get input from them. So every month, it's always a great opportunity. And I understand, maybe at first you go and nothing happens, but if you keep the process going, and as your development and consciousness grows, something will happen and you'll be quite thrilled. So, let's bring in we'll go through the tube of light and everything for protection today. So, beloved, I am presence bright, round a cellular tube of light from ascended master flame, called forth now in God's own name. Let it keep my temple free from all discord sent to me. I'm calling forth the violet fire to blaze and transmute all desire, keeping on in freedom's name till I am one with the violet flame. Beloved, I am presence bright, round me cellular tube of light from ascended master flame, called forth now in God's own name. Let it keep my temple free from all discord sent to me. I'm calling forth the violet fire to blaze and transmute all desire, keeping on in freedom's name till I am one with the violet. Beloved, I am presence bright, round me cellular tube of light. Send a master flame, call forth now in God's own name. Let it keep my temple free from all discord sent to me. I'm calling forth the violet fire to blaze and transmute all desire. We reach out to the great central sun, asking for Lord Gautama Buddha to bring forth his protecting blue flame out around our tube of light, white light, and our consciousness 4 inches thick, that only love is allowed within. Yes. And in that process, you should be very deeply resonating into the earth. And we're going to go to our welcoming of Mother Father, welcoming the phylum of the angels and all the masters, and to the universal beings who are perhaps walking their experience in light, and they're studying light, and they are welcome to join us. And now we'll do our mantra. I am the soul. I am the light divine. I am love. I am will. I am fixed design. So, good morning. So we have Chase and Julie with us this morning. Today is the Eye of Horus series, and you can see mine is still with my friend. She should arrive home today. No one has heard from her or the family. So we shall see. And I want to talk a little bit about the Eye of Horus today. And as I was looking through the internet this weekend, as I had a little bit of free time, I was fascinated. Some of the things I saw. So I want to perhaps get a conversation going, if someone wants to, about what you believe. There's a lot of different experiences of light and of people and development. And it can be confusing. And it's not that I didn't find this for myself. For a long time, one of the first people I worked with was a Barbara Ann Brennan person, which I don't even know if you hear about now, but at the time, 35 years ago, that was the thing to go and do and learn. But she was very clear in her message that I was not to do that, but I was a great healer. So I'm like, here I am all on my own, figuring it out, working with people. And then what did happen is it came to me as I worked with people, new perceptions, new ideas, how this and that worked together. And here I am today. So I myself thought today this weekend, as I went through well, was that true? And then I have to bring myself back. Do you know that the power of the mind, and good morning, Marby and Cavell, can be so powerful that you can make something true? It may just be in the ethers, but it has no matter to it. So my talk today is cautionary and wanting to know the meats of something. Where does that come from? What's the history? Like the full moon, immediately for me it's DK, who has been who I worked with for all these years in my own development and working with people and healing, and still there, still we talk. More things are always coming, and I wanted to see if I can stir within you the understanding to have your perception, your own Eye of Horus, which we all have an all-seeing eye, and have its clarity be one that can speak to you the truth. Speak to you the truth. So I'm going to talk briefly from my heart about one thing that I saw, and it was about consciousness. And my PhD I achieved in the study of consciousness. So I guess that's why it goes beep, to me, and I do understand there could be 20 million different levels of how consciousness is. But I can only say I have lived the movement of my consciousness and understand that movement. And without a will of making things happen, they show up. And I guess that's my main awareness I want to give to you. I don't see it as levels of consciousness. We are consciousness. And if everyone can take a moment and think that thought, we are a consciousness that's alive and growing. Stages of development, something different. And I do know, good morning, Christina, of a number of people, and usually it's about seven stages of development. And most of the people I meet and know are not beyond the fifth. If you are having relationship issues, whether it's you and your partner or maybe you and people, that is the fourth level of stage development. And it's a process where you begin to no longer have an ego that speaks to you. All these different kinds of things. So it's not about your consciousness has a stage, would be limiting. And if you understand God, God has no limits. So for me, my perception is consciousness can expand the entire experience of Earth and beyond. So there is no stage of that. There are various levels of development, like there's a planetary development when you have achieved that. There is a galactic achievement, but they're not of consciousness. They're about the awakening and the knowingness of its existence and having achieved that awareness. So, your third eye is going through a process of development, of clearing. And for each of you, it's different. Some are finding it quite easy to do some of the exercises that I give you, and the life experiences that come to you that you are choosing to shift or change or look differently. That is what clearing your channel is about. Sometimes I have people who want to, well, I can't believe I felt terrible. I learned to welcome that, because every time I went into a lower vibration, into, oh my God, it was a part of me that was screaming at me, heal me, help me, heal me not to see it that way. Because in the end, it is seeing everything as a perfection. If you understand there is no imperfection. So in that is a shift in consciousness, not a level, but more light. It's more light and awakening that you can hold. And the brain function actually shifts. So it's not like, ooh, on December 13th, No. Your consciousness is growing and expanding. How it becomes different is how you choose to see things through this eye. You know, the whole quandary of why we have a third eye was from Atlantis. For a lot of people were blessed, and they wanted an apple, they could create an apple. If they wanted a house, they made a house. But the problem is they began to believe they were doing it. That gift was given into them and had nothing to do with God. So there you have the separation between the crown and what today we have as the third eye. Two petals separated and created the third eye in that whole quandary of the Atlantis times, of who's in charge, who is this? For me, I have wondrous gifts, but they are mine, given to me by God to be used through my vessel. So they're his gifts that he's sharing. They're not mine to own. But unless I change my path, they probably wouldn't be there if I did. So it was kind of a little bit of an odd thing today when so many things, now that awareness and consciousness is growing, to try to limit that growth. The more you can see the levels of light you hold expanding and reaching out, the more you are awakening, the more you're becoming all that you're meant to be. And each one of us, it's different. I always tell people, you don't want to be like me. I'm me. You want to be like you. And you want to discover, who are you? I didn't even know who I am today existed until I kept clearing, having issues, clearing them, crying, evolving, more sessions. Yeah, didn't know. And then there it was. As we went to Shasta, people who knew of me, who saw me, who recognized me, knew who I was and would share what they knew, or I wouldn't have the deep understanding on some level that I do today. So I want you to be awake in all the different things. To have a firm foundation, I think, is what I'm saying, in where you're coming from and what you believe. And the Tom, Dick, and Harry who might be saying something, take a moment. Well, who is Tom, Dick, and Harry? Did they just start this a couple years ago? Or where is it? Let me tell you, it cannot be done in a couple years. I took 35 years. I was in Thailand within the first 6 years, I would say. And even though I was doing the profound meditations all that time, it isn't a quick thing. It isn't like today you go to bed and tomorrow you're going to wake up brand new. It's a development. It's how consciousness grows, not by stages, but by evolution of who you are. And we're all different, every single one of us. And we're all in a perfection. Not one in any way is better than another. But there's a uniqueness in discovering that which drop of light you brought in from God. What light was it that ignited once again that you've been carrying through ages? It's not just this lifetime. I've had 149,000 lifetimes. And I met a man who mapped it out for me. He actually was very well known, who I didn't know about. When I went to Georgia for one part of my work, and he had developed this whole thing and was very well known. And someone told me to call him, and he worked on Doug and I both and charged us $10. And we're like, what's going on? Well, he was so a billionaire, he didn't have to charge. But that we were radiant lights even back then. And we're like, it's like we went about proving that wrong. It can't be. We don't feel like radiant lights. But that's how it can work on you still. So we've been a light beyond that which was touchable, and that was it. It still was not touchable for us. So this conversation today is to say to you, I can see the light in all of you, and it's changing. I know you can feel it changing as you're changing as we simply talk. Do a few energies. So I want you to feel comfortable in wherever it is and wherever you go. Could be different people. I found in numerous people. I always had one core or two core people. And now they're all still with me, which is nice. But yeah, especially with something here on YouTube, there's a lot. There is a lot out there. And I hope that you are able to feel my heart and the truth of the love I hold, which is God's love, and desire for you to evolve all to all you can be. I remember one day we were in the car with Saint Germain, and as we drove, he made all these images in the clouds, like a big ship, and a man standing waving his cane. And I thought, wow, that's powerful. How does he do that? Well, they're called siddhas. And the meditation we do help people evolve to do the siddhas of very powerful beings from India at another time. And the one ride that we took Heather down to Sanibel, you might remember, we had a ride like all this miracle all around us the whole way down. So you can't make it happen. You can't look for it to happen. You need to live life. You need to live life. You need to be in your development and wanting to support the part of you that desires to grow. But more light quotient it's called, is the key to your development. So, any questions about any of that? Let me see, are you all really here? Are you somewhere else? I never know. I did see another interesting thing this weekend that for people like myself who really doesn't, at this time, doesn't do much with my videos, there are people that are taking those videos and making money off of them, creating them in some other way. So I'm going to look into not allowing that in some way to happen. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. So does anybody have a question about consciousness? Even the people that I've introduced you to, uh, the above heaven people, they're just literally totally pure, and just happiness and joy. You met them. That's all they are. I didn't know that existed until I was shown. Who's to know? So there has to be even a lot more things that are going to show themselves, and maybe you're going to be the one that sees it or brings it. It doesn't matter, because we are all here waiting, living as we go, desiring for it all to come. I just wanted you to know it's not a quick fix. Let me put a cape on today and that's who I am. Nope. No, it took me a long time. I awoke when I was a little girl. I could already see things, already saw Jesus. He came and walked with me every day. But I had no one to let me know that was a powerful thing. We were farmers. My dad did cards. They could up and fly. I didn't know that was different. I didn't know that was something. I sure wish I had asked him about it. It's one thing I cannot do. And so be patient. It's evolution and loving yourself, self-acceptance, understanding that every moment has its perfection, what it's trying to teach you. That's what your consciousness is about right now, is trying to help you evolve and to see and understand everything. Well, I'm down to 4 people, so I guess this conversation. Let me see how many of you have come here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, well, that's all right. Anybody have a question? Julie says hi to everybody. I'm not going to come on tomorrow for messages. It's the 4th of July, and I figured all of you have lots of other things to do. So I will be back on Thursday, and I set for the weekend, and Master Babaji would like to come and speak with all of you. Babaji is like a brother to Jesus. He has been asked to stay upon the earth, so we have the understanding that that type of being can be alive and live upon the earth, where Jesus existed to teach us how to ascend. Start anywhere, Julie. She's saying it's hard to know where to start. Just start anywhere. Sometimes it's difficult for me because of all that I have brought light to. It's hard to really remember how it was for me and how I felt and what was important, and that I would have wished someone would have helped me. So there was just so many, when I realized that who I took as a teacher didn't want me to follow her path, told me that I had my own path. That was very interesting. And then here I am helping people, because I so felt that wasn't, I am the opposite. So my path is about helping people evolve and open their heart and to have a greater love and to do what they've come here to do right now, is to help the world. Now, I honestly can see the world changing. I mentioned that to you the other day. Things are shifting. If you didn't see it, that whole case about the girl in Colorado, the name she used, he didn't ask for that. He wasn't any part of that. So it was all fake. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do about that, because they were taking away benefits to people on a basis of nothing. So many things, not only in the government, but in our own lives, and how business is responding, and even how all of us are responding to our light. Not one question. My goodness. Since it always says there's 4, did that mean everyone's left pretty much? My goodness. Thank you, Chase. That was really powerful for you. So what you're going to know is that's something that along the road, as you even get more understanding in it, that you'll share. And you're still there. Julie Johnson. Yeah, still here. Well, that's wonderful, Chase. I'm just so happy for you. Because, you could have done it for a couple days. If you stopped it, it won't be doing the same thing. That's one thing about the true path that you're on. It has to be every day, every day, every day. It becomes a way of living, a way of your body understanding that you're holding your light and how you respect your light and how you love God. Having that relationship with God, I can say from people I work with, would tend to be the most difficult piece. And I guess you wouldn't think that. My mother was a Sunday school teacher, so I began very little. And I continued through all my years of going. So I can remember every time I went up to the altar that I would just shudder in tears, and I didn't know why. But now I do, because I was home. Let's see, Julie says. She's just giving me thanks. You're welcome, Julie. So the journey that I up and went to Thailand in the beginning with, I didn't really know Doug. I had met him once. And then he told me that people who went got to be a minister. And see, that was my heart thing. I wanted to be a minister, which I am, and of 5 different churches, if you want to know. Everybody who would meet me for a while, oh, do you want to be a minister of our church? Oh, yeah, for sure. But anyway, what I was saying. And then as I was talking to people, I think 4 other people joined me. So I went with 5 people. Doug came up from Florida. So we had 6 people all together that went to a place where there was like 50 people from all over the world, powerful beings of light who did every kind of thing you can imagine, things I had never heard of, all on different levels of awareness. Good morning, Alice John. Thank you for coming. But that was one of my most powerful educations. We also went to see a shaman there, Petri. That was the essence she pulled in. And she had a lot of tools. She would use the balls of lotus, when it's still in the ball and has the lotus leaves, and conk people in the head with do that. She would cigar smoke in their face. She had elephant tools from the bone. Now, Doug, he got that drug about 4 inches deep up his spine, if you can imagine that. He was screaming like a pig. What did she do to me? She picked up these leaves and just rubbed them over me. And I'm like, what the heck? I'm missing out. And it wasn't that at all. But the next day, Doug couldn't move. So everybody saw us as a couple, by the way. We hardly knew each other. Our auras apparently are identical when you're soul flames. So our teacher sent me up to tell me how to come down. You can't miss a day. And I touched his back, and down he came and made it through the day. But what a powerful experience. Very, very powerful experience. One lady decided it was a good idea, which don't ever do this, to not eat and cleanse the whole time she was there. We might have been there for 2 weeks. Well, so by the end, she was pretty much almost dead. And the heightening of the light and its electricity and how it works upon the energy field. There had to be 5 people went up and tried to help this lady. And something inside me, I said, I'll go. And they're going, no. They didn't know who I was. So I went, grabbed her feet and brought her. No one must have even thought of it. Brought her being back down into her and saved her life. I wouldn't have known what to do it until it happened. That's what I'm saying. Things came to me. So, and that was towards one of the last days. So I had received that which I needed to have was a confidence there was something inside me. Something more than me that was alive and well and going to help people without thinking about it. And so that was the beginning of Douglas and I. There was a big storm at home, and the other 6 people flew out early, and Doug and I stayed. That's how passionate we were about spending time with our teacher. And yes, we got stuck in a hotel on the way back, but it all was perfect. And that's what you'll start to know. Yes, you all have your own path. Thank you, Elvis. And that's because we're all unique. We're not stamps of little humans that come out looking alike. Like I had a lot. My father was the 7th son. I have his gift, which I didn't even know about that gift until it would come in different things people I would talk to. Yeah, I understand, Julie. There's so much, even yet for me, that I don't know every day. I'm understanding and evolving, and sometimes a lot now towards more than ever I had to before with the outer world and why people are and act the way they do. Certainly that's been a part of my work always through my clients, but I'm still amazed, I have to say. And I have the ability to see them for where it is, but I have to scratch my head. No. So I understand. But yeah. So, well, you have to know a lot of what I speak comes from the vessel that I sit in, which is Mother, which I had no thoughts of ever attaining. TsR&x, I know I achieved and have always been TsR&x, the goddess of wisdom, and Saint Germain and Portia. And my husband Doug, he's Theophilus. That's the counterpart to TsR&x. But then when Portia came and said, it's time, Mother wants you to join her. Oh, I wasn't even sure what that meant. So she worked with me a number of days in teaching me what being a mother meant, and mother of light. And went about on that journey. And here I am today. Many pieces. Sometimes my children would always say, "What's your name today?" I'm sure it was a difficult thing. My daughter now loves it because she's reached an age where she can feel it. But I would say, Julie, to you, my least confusing piece of all of it is God and my faith. And I think having that word believe is one of the biggest achievements. I had one client years ago. She would be the part, act the part, and we'd go home. I used to have 3-week retreats. And she says, "Yeah, but I don't believe it." I'm like, "Okay, let's go back in." She just couldn't overcome that hurdle of believing it was real. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's being patient and waiting for that evolution, that ball to drop, whatever you want to call it. But then so many things started happening to me. Before we went to Thailand, I had done a new moon. And this is why if somebody wants something, I tell them you got to sit and write a new moon from your heart. And that's a piece people don't get. You have a heart that has a feeling, and it's a manifester. And I'm all the things I wanted about a man. And I was doing it for my husband, but I didn't put his name on it. And that's when, within a week, I met Doug. God brought him to me. And when we were setting up rooms, when we went to Thailand, the lady goes, "Oh, well, you're in a room with Douglas Creed?" I'm like, "Oh, no, I'm a married woman." And by the time I went home, my teacher says to me, "I guess you wish you would have had that room together, right?" I thought that was a little weird. But anyway, he knew. He knew that was what was going to come from us seeing each other, that we were old souls together. And over the years, I met a lot of people that were soulmates, however you want to call it. Because the light and the evolution of the light tends to draw them to that. So, lovely people, very balanced. People usually say they love being around Doug and I together because I guess we're different than other people. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. We just laugh a lot. When we send out our wedding invitations, we sent little children images. We were still like finding ourselves as children and enjoying blowing bubbles. How ridiculous that may sound to you, but it was another growth. So I would like for you to be open and let your heart guide you. Yes, laughing is the best. Yes. So here we are, 35 years later. Feel as young as I did then. And I feel full of light. And I know, instead of just not knowing, I know to ask someone help me explain that. I asked that today when I read all this stuff about consciousness, and it came to me. There is no stage of consciousness. Consciousness grows. And it depends on each individual how you become awake and aware to where you are and what you do. There are developmental states in the mastership that you attain in a different way for growth. And it's about being your ego or your spirit or your soul. Two different things. The word consciousness is as big as you allow it to let it grow to be. and beyond. So let's see, here's a question. Let's see. Oops. This is Julie. I think they are correct. How do we trust God in all of the drama and the pain of life? Well, what you need, and see, I know today if I say it, you won't hear me because you may not be there yet. Maybe you will. But those things we see as pain are just lessons. The drama is the acting out of how people react to things. And the more you understand that there's no benefit in that, that will also stop. But until and while it's still happening to you, you can love people for where they are. But life really has no pain. It's your assimilation and how your consciousness of the body reacts. If that makes sense to you. Because that's truly what the essence of God is, to become at peace with Him and His joy. Thank you, Elvis, for your thoughts. Here's Julie. I was raised. Oh, I thought I saw something different. All right. Well, I guess we're getting over our time here. Don't mean to talk about my experience, but I know for myself, if some people didn't share, I didn't know what was possible, if that makes sense to you. If we live life with it all shut, we never know what exists. And you want to live life with all possibilities. All possibilities. How many times do you hear the little Olympians? I had a dream since I was little. I had a dream since I was little. I was just watching. I'm a big tennis. I used to play 9 times a week. Nadal. He knew he wasn't beating people, but yet he knew he was gonna be the best. There's those things that you just know. You know, things that you don't know how you get there. And it's because you know you are is what you do. And your partner in that is God. Because He sees that you are able to hold that light and have that true process. And for those who can get to hold their thoughts that clearly, great things are in store for you. All possibilities, that's right, Julie. All things are possible. And that is the truth. It's the illusion that it's not is what isn't real. And that you need to stop giving power to. So, happy 4th of July. I'll see you on Thursday with Master Babaji. Don't miss it. He's so, so beautiful and powerful. And I will talk to you soon. Many blessings.